Every episode celebrates original content written by real people who experience real emotions. I'm Rayanne Thorn Krueger. Welcome to Real Words. Continuing the ECT series, this is episode 9. My guest today is Bobby Gonzalez. Hey, Bobby, thanks for joining me today.
Hi, Rayanne. Thank you for having me.
Such a pleasure to have you here. And
Yeah.
the reason we're talking is about an incredible project that is getting ready to open at the Muckenthaler Cultural Arts Center, where the resident theater company is Electric Company Theater. And this is ECT's series. I'm introducing and welcoming all the actors that get to participate in this production. Very unusual production. If you are unfamiliar with it, so is everybody else. White Rabbit, Red Rabbit is a play written by Nassim Soleimanpour, who is an Iranian playwright. I wanted to make sure I say that right. And
Good, because I wouldn't.
he developed and wrote this play during a time when he was forbidden to leave his country. And so I'm not sure what it's going to be about, and neither are the actors. Bobby's one of those actors. So, Bobby, tell us a little, before we start talking about White Rabbit, Red Rabbit, tell us a little bit about your theater background.
My theater background. Okay. I suppose it probably started in elementary school, is maybe when I first was introduced to, I guess, the craft of theater or acting
Yes.
as a art form, I suppose.
Right.
I was a pretty voracious reader as a kid, and I think I was usually a little bit of a better reader than a lot of my other classmates in elementary school. So I would get, whenever we had like a little classroom play or something, I would get like the parts in the play because I could read the script.
Right.
So that was kind of like my introduction to it, and then I continued on doing it a little bit in middle school. I remember in middle school we had some sort of like academic decathlon or something. I don't remember what it was, but it was like a kind of like a competition thing. And me and another classmate did Who's on First, the Abbott and Costello skit.
Yes.
And we won. So I got an award for it. So I was like, okay, well, I guess this is cool. I get
This
awards
is
for doing
cool.
this
Yeah.
goofy thing. Did it a little bit in junior high, and then a little bit in high school. Brian Johnson, who's the co-artistic director of ECT, was my high school theater teacher in my junior year. By then, I had kind of like stopped with the theater thing because I didn't really like the program before that.
Right.
And then Brian asked me to do some stuff in my senior year, and I started to really love it again. And then after that, he would do all kinds of different alumni shows, and then eventually formed ECT, which I've been performing with since kind of its inception, I guess. So that's kind of the
Right.
long, short history of it.
Right. Well, I've had the pleasure of seeing you perform many times and performed with you when we
Yeah.
did
Oh,
Fiddler on the
yeah.
Roof a year ago. Hard to believe that
That
was
was
a
a
year
year
ago.
ago?
Yes,
Ew.
it was.
Ew. Don't. Ew.
So fun. So
Year.
fun.
Yeah.
So when you think about this production, the construct of White Rabbit, Red Rabbit is none of the actors get to see the script at all until just before they walk on stage. And each performance is done by one actor one night. And then the next night, a different actor, and they get the same script. So it's going to be interesting to see these actors, and you'll get a chance to come back and see other actors because you're early in the run. You will be
Yeah.
on the second night of the run on February 11th at 7 p.m. is your performance time. And I just wondering how you feel about this. Are you nervous? Does it seem interesting? Are you excited to learn what the script is all about? I kind of have an idea, and I haven't studied it all, but just reading the intro over and over again, I'm like, ooh, I think I know what this might be about. So I'm excited.
It's funny that you say that because I don't know what this is about. I haven't looked anything up really, but I have been like picking up little tiny clues here and there. For example, your intro, some things in passing that, Brian or his wife Callie have said that I'm trying to like in my head piece together what this could be. I still have no idea, but that's just kind of like how I operate. I'm
Right.
always
I'm
trying
the
to
same way.
search for answers. Yeah.
Yes.
So I've been trying to figure it out, and I don't want to. I don't want to like spend too much time trying to figure it out, because if I'm completely off base, I think that might throw me for a loop.
Right.
But how do I feel about it in general? I'm kind of excited to see it and get it. You know, I don't want to say get it over with, like it's something I have to do and get over with, but I'm excited to kind of finally, I guess, be in on it. I have this. I don't like to not know. I don't like to
Right.
be in the dark. And there's this thing, this show, which some of my friends and fellow ECT members like already know what this show is that aren't performing it, and they've been kind of talking about it, not talking about the show, but talking about, you know. The essence of it, and just the fact that they know what it is and I don't really pisses me off. So I want to get in on the joke, but I'm excited to do it. It's such a weird concept to me.
It really is.
The more I think about it, it kind of bugs me in a way, just because I don't get it. I don't know how to articulate it, but I can't wrap my head around it really, and like I don't know like who this is for. Like
Right.
what is this experience for? Is it for the audience to see and experience something they've never seen before? But then again, some of them might be coming back, so they will have seen it. So why are they coming
Right.
back? Because they want to see it in a different way. Is it for the actor to kind of experience it for themselves? Is it for
Right.
the audience to experience the actor experience? I don't know. I have all these questions where I just don't get what this thing
I feel
is.
like it's a little bit of all of that, because I think as an
Yeah.
audience member, you suddenly are thrown into what it's like to be an actor, right? That
Sure. Yeah.
I'm nervous, I'm in front of people, I don't know what I'm going to say. And for many people who are deathly afraid of public speaking, I think that's been cited as the number one fear. It's kind of reminiscent of that. You have to say something, but you do have a script in front of you, right? And you do
Yeah.
have little stage directions, and somebody who's experienced in theater and has perhaps done readers theater, you get a better idea of how to move forward with this, right? I'm going to have the script in my hand. I'm not going to be alone. I've got this right here that I get to look back on. Plus, the audience is experiencing it at the exact same time that I am. So will it lend itself to more emotion or more separation from the audience because they're nervous for you, right? So they need to separate because they don't want to feel that same amount of
Right. It's a
anxiety,
little like
right?
cringy.
Yeah.
They're
Ooh, I
kinda
don't want to
like,
be. I don't want to
like,
feel that.
"Oh, I
It's too
hope he can-"
close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is kind of interesting in that way. It is a little bit of a tightrope walk kind of
Yeah.
feeling, I suppose. And it's so unusual to me because it kind of like, I mean, I might as well be in the audience, right?
Right.
Like, for example, I could show up the night of my performance and decide I don't want to do it and just hand the script to somebody in the audience,
Yeah.
and it's going to be like the same thing as if I like they don't know, I don't know,
Right.
so
Right.
it's very bizarre.
It'll be
Yeah.
interesting I mean, because there's so many ways it could go. Is it a comedy? Is it interactive with the audience? Is it serious? Is it dramatic? Is it a tragedy? How will this whole thing work? And we shouldn't probably dive into it too much, but I can't, the more that I talk to each of the actors, the more I'm like, I can't wait to see what
Yeah,
this is
just
all about and feel part of it, right?
and speculating about it.
And
Yeah,
speculate, yeah.
I kind of anticipate it might be a little bit of everything. I assume
think
there's
so
some
too.
sort of a, but isn't that life? I mean, life is a
That
little
is.
bit of everything. It's ups and downs. It's happy. It's funny. It's sad. It's goofy. So
That's
I
true.
imagine it'll be a lot of that. But one of the things that kind of, I'll say kind of bugs, I don't know. This is going into the public record, and maybe I may change my tone completely after I do it. But there's something that I find a little bit kind of, dare I say, annoying on like about it, because it's like, why does this hinge so much on the performer not knowing what the
Right.
show is? And as an actor, you expect to have a script, so you have time to develop a character, dive
Right.
in. What does this sound like? What does they look like? How do they walk? How do they talk?
What's their
all that thing.
backstory? All of those different things that you
Sure.
do as an actor, right?
How do I tell this story? How do I articulate this? But for whatever reason, the playwright decided I'm not going to let you be an actor. You're just going to you have to put trust in the text, I guess, but it kind of really strips away what it means to be an
Yeah.
actor and a performer. Like, you don't get to do any of that stuff that
Right.
typically comes with the job. And part of me is always like, why? Like, why
Yeah.
can't I, why can't, like, why can't you just show me the script, or at least some of the script, or have, and then there are chunks of it where it's like open for interpretation. I don't know. There's
I have a
something
feeling,
weird to me
Bobby,
about
you're
that.
gonna nail this. If you were the kid that the teacher called on to
Yeah.
read in history class, can you read about, anything in history and make it dramatic? I have a feeling this will be interesting and easy for you. I know that when Callie, who's the co-artistic director, co-founder of Electric Company Theater, who is opening night performer, so she can see everybody else, right? She can be there
Right.
for every other performer. She said that I'm pretty good at a cold read, like a cold audition. So I feel like I might be okay at this, right?
Yeah.
And another performer, actor that's doing this, Jeff Paul, said he called himself a theater practitioner, which I think separates yourself. It's more than an actor. It's a little bit more than just, I don't want to say just an actor because that's such a big part of a production, but
Yeah.
when you're a theater practitioner and you've done it your whole life, right? He's retired, has been acting or directing his whole life. That was his career too. He was a high school theater teacher, directing and acting his whole life. It almost lends itself to, this is just one more thing to try as
Right,
a
of course.
theater practitioner, right?
Yeah.
Have you done improv before?
A little bit here and there. I aside from just everyday life. I mean, everyday
Right,
life is
right.
kind of an
Improving
improv.
every day. Right.
Improving on stage, I've done a little bit. I wouldn't say I'm great or spectacular at it or anything like that, but it's fun. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, and that's the other thing is, like, I'm not sure how much, if any, improv there is going to
Right.
be in this. I think, like, there is kind of, like, I think there's a lot of assumptions that there will be some improv,
Yeah.
and there kind of is, just in general, and a lot of the stuff we do for ECT, there's a lot of improv or audience interaction-y type things. But, like, I don't know, is there any improv? Is there going to be a section of the
Right.
text that's, is it just a straight thing I read through? Is it more of an
Right.
instruction manual that tells me what to do, or tells me
Right.
where to go, or who to talk to, or what to get? Is it like a scavenge? I don't know. I have no idea.
Well, I know
So,
that you've done some radio, and there's a little bit of improv that happens there because dead airspace is makes you dead as as a radio practitioner or a
an
podcast
audio
host,
person, yeah.
an audio person, audio technician. Dead airspace is bad. Right. So you fill that space. So I'm just wondering if there will be times when it feels like you need to fill some dead air because you're reading and audience is watching you read and you're trying to catch them up with what you're experiencing yourself, right? And so I
Right.
think it's going to be a really interesting, just innovative, immersive, which ECT is so good at, these immersive experiences, right? Like when we did Fiddler Under the Tree and included
Right.
audience members, right? I feel like there's going to definitely be this audience participation
Yeah.
part of aspect of this show.
What was that like for you in Fiddler? Did you enjoy that kind of audience interaction?
I
'Cause
love
I
that stuff.
personally get, like, weirded
didn't
out
like
by
it.
I try to avoid it. I kind
Yeah.
of let other people that enjoy that stuff, like, do most of that. But
There's a
you liked
thing
it?
with me that because I've gotten more introverted as I've aged, as I've gotten older, I've become, because I used to be just wild and I didn't care. I was easy. It was very easy for me to talk to anybody at any given time. But I think through COVID and aging, I've become a little bit more introverted. So the first thinking about it, my brain was like, I don't want to do this. And my job, and I don't know, I think you had the same job, was to identify a couple of audience members
Right.
to
Yeah.
participate later. And I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to do once
Yeah.
I identified them, I was fine. But it's like picking somebody and then having to come up to them like a cold welcome. Hey, thanks
Yeah.
for coming to the show. Do you want to be on stage?
Right.
All of those fun things. So,
It's funny because I think I like you, I think I can do a lot of that stuff as Bobby, but
yes.
as a character, I get a little bit like, oh no, I
I'm
need the
not sure
fourth
about
wall
this
between
character.
me and
Right.
that person. Yeah, so
Well, we
interesting.
become so confident with who we are, in particular,
Hmm.
as a podcast host and as a marketing professional that I was for 20 years. I have utilized my theater experience in my work.
Mm.
So let's transition a little bit to that. Tell us what you do during the day. What's your day job?
During the day, I'm a TV producer slash writer for a local TV station, KTLA. It's a news station.
Okay.
I've been there for coming up on 13 years now, so I've
Wow.
kind of done a little bit of everything under the sun there. And right
Yeah.
now, I'm a line producer, which basically I produce an hour of news every day
Okay.
and assign stories and writers and that kind of thing.
So has your theater experience been helpful with that career?
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, it's pretty. The skill set is relatively transferable. I have to more or less put a show together, be a storyteller. In some of the jobs I've done, I've had to do podcasts or host
Right.
things or be in front of a camera. I've had to write, collaborate with eccentric personalities. It all transfers over. So definitely, I think my experience in theater and background in theater has helped that dealing well under pressure, all that
Right.
stuff. I mean, I think you could take the skill sets in live theater and take them pretty much anywhere, no matter what job you do. So
I feel the same way. I feel like my experience in theater aided me in, and I'm one that type of person that's had three or four different careers. And with each of those careers, it added something to it, where whether it was public speaking or talking to strangers or, anything that you have to
hmm
do, an improv situation where you have to come up with what's next, or in particular, podcasting it's been really helpful. So, because there is a performative part
yeah,
of our work, right? In any
yeah.
kind of work, you are performing, you feel like you're being judged, so you want to perform the best possible.
hmm
So if you've got this great career where you get to utilize this skill set, why continue to do theater?
Why continue to do theater? Brian Johnson said he would shoot my dog if I didn't, and I love my dog, so I didn't
Okay,
want my.
so
No, kidding.
he
Yeah,
threatened
threat.
you.
No, why continue? I enjoy it. It's something that I enjoy doing in my free time. I think it keeps me engaged in the community. It keeps me engaged in artistic expression. I love collaborating with my friends. I mean, I've known Brian and Callie for years now. A bunch of the members of ECT, Renee, your daughter,
Yep.
Wesley. Like, it's a very tight knit group of people, and every time a new person joins, it's just like another new friend to have,
Right,
another new
right.
collaborator. And so, I'm always excited to do stuff with this company in particular. So, that's kind of why I keep doing it. And also, I'm a glutton for punishment and I'm starved of attention. So starved for attention. So
There
yeah,
you go.
all those reasons, I
All
guess.
those
Yeah.
reasons. I guess
Yeah.
that's kind of a lot of the reasons that people why they continue to act, even if it's not something they need to do or have to do, and it's not their work.
hmm
It fills time. It is a community that you can be a part of. So,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah, for sure. And it's always fun to play. It kind of keeps things light and it's a fun thing that I like to do. I don't have this thing that I feel like a lot of other actors have and a lot of my peers have, where it's like um they they must do it if it's something
right,
inside of them, and I
right.
I really admire that, and I think that is great. I just, for me, it's I don't know, it feels a little bit more just like a leisurely stroll in the park. It's something that I'm
Right.
so fortunate enough to have the opportunity to do through this group of friends and this group of people that I've worked with for a long time. Um, I I if the ECT didn't exist, I don't know that I would be performing very much, honestly. Like,
Right.
just to be honest, like I'm not that I don't, go out to auditions or, do short films or anything like that. I just, I don't know. I never really went that route, but I've
Right.
been fortunate enough to have this company and be able to continue doing things like this. So that's kind of like why,
And it's
I jump at the
transferable to
opportunities
your
to do it.
career, your work as well. So it all works out for you. And I will say, as an audience member, I've seen you in a number of productions, and it's always a joy to
Oh,
watch you
thank you.
perform. So,
That's very
and
kind of
I
you to
look
say.
forward to seeing
Yeah.
you on February 11th, 7 p.m. I
Yeah.
put the banner up here. electriccompanytheater.org is where you can get your tickets. There's a button. Just go to that website and purchase your tickets. Come and see Bobby on February 11th.
Yeah.
Bobby, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to see you at the show.
Can't wait. Bye, everyone.